Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining for our February rest and relaxation session. It's hard to believe it's February already. I've been seeing lots of memes on Facebook about we made it through January, what a long year. So it's like, yep, that's how it felt. So we're in February, and so I've got I'm excited about the practice I developed for us today. So my name is Shelly Maxwell. I'm a clinical social worker with Ascension, Wisconsin's EAP program. And I'm joined by Jen, my colleague. She's also a counselor, and she organizes our trainings. So you might have seen Jen already in some of the trainings and presentations we've been providing virtually every other month. So Jen is going to be handling the chat. So if you have a question or need some assistance, she's there to help you. And she's also going to be recording the session. These are on our Ascension, Wisconsin EAP YouTube channel. And we have a playlist, R&R sessions, and you can access these at any time. So let's go ahead and get started. We've been seeing lots of hearts around with February, and for some people, they love Valentine's Day, and for others, it's like can't stand it. It can be triggering. And so I do want to take some time, though, to tend to our hearts. Okay, in yoga, the heart center is called Anahata, Anahata. And the color that's used to represent that chakra area is green. Okay, so hence my green sweater, the greenery of this heart. And so really moving away from the idea of Hallmark's Valentine's Day to the different things that green represents to you. Okay, might be nourishment or life, right? So there's flourishing, blossoming. There's different ways that green can really stimulate a sense of well-being. And when you think about all the adrenals that are located right around the heart center, so our heart has been doing some heavy lifting. And that's why I wanted to take some special time for it today. And I want to teach you a skill that I use in sessions or with friends and family when my heart is having to do some heavy lifting, okay, where it just helps preserve a part of myself and not get too pulled in to the trauma or the sorrow. And I do want to take a moment to thank each of you for the ways you're showing up with your heart at work, whether you're a manager and helping your employees, or you're in healthcare or education, whatever your role is, a lot is being called on us. And I just want to give a heartfelt thank you to each of you. So taking that moment to pause. So today I'm going to teach you a breathing practice called Tanglen. And we're going to use this as our breathing practice. And I'm going to move it into an imagery that Kristen Neff uses in her recording called Soften, Soothe, Allow. And I've put the link to her guided meditations and recordings at the bottom of this slide. But honestly, if you Google self-compassion and go onto our website and click on practices, you'll find it there. And so Kristen Neff has developed what we call self-compassion. She's written the book Self-Compassion, Fierce Self-Compassion. She has an amazing Facebook page where she posts lots of great memes. So I highly recommend that you check out Kristen Neff's work if you haven't already, and if you like our practice. So I was going to do this first part when we started our chair yoga, but let's go ahead and do it now, because I think we can use it as part of our grounding. So I'm going to use my fingertips and bring them together. We're just going to do a little bit of acupressure. I'm trained in Seva acupressure. And when we do acupressure, it's not like we're pushing in. It's almost like the sensation of when you blow on your skin, that your touch is that gentle. Okay. And we're just going to take the fingertips together and bring it to our heart space. It doesn't matter the hand. And then, and you might even be able to feel your heart beating. And then with your other hand together, come and bring it as close as you can to the back of your heart. Okay, and take a moment here to feel that connection between the front and the back of your heart. And then taking the hand that's on the front of your heart, bring it to the crown of your head at the very top of your head. And the hand that's in back, bring those fingertips to the base of your tailbone. And feel the lengthening through your spine, almost as if you can pull up through the crown of the head. So feeling that connection between the groundedness of the sits bones and the length through the crown of the head as it connects with the space above and around you. Then you can release the hands, bring them into your lap or wherever's comfortable, and bring awareness to your feet. The heels, the outer edges, the balls of the feet, and the inner arches. And we're going to travel joint to joint, so coming to your ankles, your knees in relation to the ankles, your hips in relation to the knees, traveling up the spine to the shoulders, let them drop, coming down to the elbows. You can even slide your palms so that the elbows come under the shoulders more directly. And then bring awareness to your wrists and your hands wherever they're resting. Travel back up your arms to the back of your neck, lengthening, and back up to the crown of the head. And observe the breath. So engaging that diaphragmatic breath that we've been developing over the months, and hopefully you're using it all day, every day. But go ahead and on your exhale, squeeze the navel center to the spine to really squeeze that air out. And then when you're ready to inhale, just release the effort and let the belly balloon. 2 more times. Trying to lengthen the in-breath and lengthening the out-breath. And then if your eyes aren't closed already, you'll probably find it helpful to close your eyes during the tongue blend practice. And I want you to bring awareness to your heart. And still using that breath, it doesn't have to be as focused. You know, your breath can be more natural, but making sure that, you know, the exhale is squeezing the breath out and the inhale is expanding. And picturing your heart, and your heart is this giant filter, and it can be counterintuitive to use our heart as a filter, but this is something that can bring a lot of calm and well-being, especially when you're holding space for someone where there's a lot of pain, or when we're holding space for ourselves when we're feeling a lot of pain. Okay, and so picture maybe some of that pain that you've been exposed to lately, not something that's super intense. I don't want it to be triggering for you right now, but something that was trying, okay? And imagine what that energy felt like. You know, you might put a color to it, you might put something like the tactile nature of it. Sometimes I've had clients when I teach them this skill, you know, they might say it's sooty or dark and tarry. Once I had a kiddo and she actually said it felt like vomit. So you can fiery, all right. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this energy into our heart on the inhale. So again, I said this is counterintuitive, but your heart is strong and your heart can handle it. And then when you exhale, imagine that your heart has cleansed it and healed it, and you're just sending that energy back out into the world. It doesn't even have to go to that person directly, but it's going into that space you're holding. And I continue to breathe here. So on every in-breath, whatever is going on with that energy, you keep breathing it in, filtering it through the heart. Let the heart cleanse and nourish it, heal it, whatever it needs. And then on the exhale, send it out, all cleansed and healed. You might even notice that the color has changed as you breathe it out. And then let's imagine that this energy, if it was somebody else's, let's imagine that it's our own. Okay, so maybe now transition to feeling something that was really hard in the moment and maybe sticking with you. And again, bring it into your heart and breathe it out. And as you're breathing, see if you can find where that sensation resides in the body. It might be tension, it might be physical pain, it might be in the shoulder or the stomach, the back. And as you locate it, notice the edges of the pain. Notice the edges if it feels like a burden or the worry. And as you breathe and noting that the heart is breathing it in, when you exhale out, you're softening those edges. So you're sending that exhaled energy to those spots, to the edges, and you're letting it soften. And notice that whatever it is that's been heavy for you, as it's softening, it's also shrinking. And maybe something that felt really big and overwhelming and engulfing you is now shrinking and becoming smaller, something that you can manage. And stay here for a few breaths as you sit with it, letting it shrink and soften, sending it that good energy, whatever you want to call it. And then after it's been able to shrink, just sit here for a moment and just soak in whatever sensation you have right now, whether it felt like a release or you feel like you have more space in your body. There's times when I've done the soften, soothe, allow practice, like where I'm literally going to Kristen's website and clicking play, where I'll get to a level and then I'll press play again because I've found new energy or new tightness or another level of the painfulness. And I recommend that recording to a lot of my clients because it's wonderful to have something there for you when you're experiencing intense emotion. Like when my mom died or when I went through my divorce, just those waves of pain, or we see, what people are struggling with right now. And it's like, okay, I need to spend some time with this. So that's the Tonglen practice. Let's begin to transition over to our chair yoga. And we're going to fold forward over our laps. And so I'm going to stop the sharing. And so you can either keep your legs together or open them just a little bit and hinge at the hips and come forward. Okay, so you're just going to let your belly hang between the thighs. Now your thighs aren't so open that you've got enough space for your full torso to come through, but you can just feel your belly kind of moving through it as you inhale. And so bending forward, see where your hands land, if they can land on the top of your feet or on the floor, and let the head hang. So with your head hanging, let's nod the head forwards and back, yes and no. Can rotate a little bit with the neck and the head, sway it back and forth. And then slowly start to walk the hands over to the left, maybe just to the outside of the left foot, depending on what is available to you in your body today. And continuing to breathe, walk the fingers back to center and then over to the left. And if your hands don't reach your feet or your legs, you just bring your hands to the outside of your left leg. And then coming back to center. And then slowly start to come back to sitting. I'm going to scoot out a little bit so that you all can see this piece. So we're going to move with the rhythm of our breath, lifting our arms like a swan or like we're making snow angels. Going to bring our arms up, drop the shoulders, and then touch opposite shoulder or opposite elbow. And then on your exhale, bring it down and see if you can sink your hands coming to the sides of your body or chair with the end of the exhale. And then similar on your inhale, let that inhale stretch up until your hands touch opposite shoulders. And move with the rhythm of your breath here. 2 more breaths. One more. Very good. Now let's lift the arms and bring our hands to our shoulders. We're going to do some shoulder circles, loosening up the back, the shoulder blades, and reverse direction. And continuing with this idea of tending to our heart, let's stretch our arms out and cup our hands so they're like scoops. And we're just gonna scoop and bring in whatever it is we need to bring into our heart. And we're just gonna do this for a few breaths, closing our eyes, moving the arms out and in as we bring in health or whatever it is that we feel like our heart needs right now. Let's do one more on each side. Beautiful. Okay, bringing our hands back to our lap. Let's lift the right arm up and over and come to a side bend. So I find it helpful to bend my opposite arm and just lay it on my lap and hold on to the outside of the right thigh. Ground through the sits bones and pull up through the pelvic floor and the navel center. And let's take it easy on our neck. We're going to look down. Sometimes we can create extra stress by looking up. So look down. Press into that right sits bones and see if you can lengthen through the right side body a little bit more. Like out of the armpit, through the fingertips. And then come back up to sitting. And then switch. Lift the left arm up. The right hand can hold the outside of the left thigh. Stretch it up as you engage the sits bones. Pull up through the pelvic floor and the navel center. And then side stretch over to the right. Use that right foot to ground you. And you want to, if you have a bad back, you might need to bend forward like this. But the idea is that we're gradually coming forward, coming straight up and almost twisting our body up towards the sky. It can be a twist for you as well, but release the neck. And come back to center, release that left arm down. We're gonna do a power chair move. So from your seat, you might need to scoot to the front of your seat. We're gonna bring our arms straight ahead and we're gonna hinge at the hips, just like we did in our forward fold, but instead of letting the arms drop down, we're gonna keep them straight ahead. So give yourself plenty of space for a moment, reaching in. So this can be an ab workout. We're strengthening the diaphragm, the abdominals, reaching those fingertips forward. So keep them straight. And then bring the palms together and into prayer position or Anjali Mudra, and bring them to your heart space. So the thumb is making contact towards the sternum. And we're gonna twist, so that the left elbow comes to the outside of your right thigh. And so the idea is that we're trying to keep those hands near the heart center and keeping that elbow tucked in. A lot of times when people do the side twist, they twerk their elbow out and create a lot of stress for the shoulders. So hug it into the torso. And then reach out in front of you, back to power chair, engage those abdominals. Looking down, keep the back of the neck straight, and then bring your hands back into prayer pose at heart center and twist your left. The right elbow now comes to the outside of the left thigh. And if this doesn't work, you can always just use your hand with the arm straight. Come back to your power chair. And then lift up. So from here, we're going to scoot back in our seats. If you're not scooted back already, lift that right leg up off the floor. Point and flex the foot. Rotate the ankle. Reverse direction. And then pulse the leg. So again, you might need to come to the front of your chair and just going up and down gently, side to side. And bring the right foot back to the floor and lift the left leg. Flex through that heel and then point and flex. Pointing the toes to the wall in front of you and then bringing them back towards your knee. The heel stretches forward. Rotate the ankle. You might hear some cracks and pops. It's okay. Reverse direction. And then lengthening through the leg. Let's pulse that leg up and down. Engage that core. And then side to side. Bring the left foot down to meet the right. Let's bring that right ankle up over the left thigh, or you can lengthen your left leg and bring that ankle across the shin. So we're in a figure 4. And then once again, we're going to lean forward and hinge. So we're keeping the back straight. And we're opening up the hip here. And the hip area is thought to hold a lot of emotion. And so in yoga, when we're tending to the heart center, we also do a lot of work with the hips. Opening them up. When you think about how often we're clenching our glutes or our hips to give us a sense of stability, right? And often when we're coping with difficult things, we tense up areas. And so we have to spend time softening and releasing them so they can heal and get oxygen flowing there again. Let's release, bring the right foot down and cross the left ankle over the right leg. Bring the crown of the head forward and hinge from the hips, opening the left hip the area around the glutes. You might even sense some opening around the tailbone. Release the shoulders, release the jaw. Notice anywhere else you might be transferring that tension, and try to release and soften. You can bring the breath there. Breathe. And then start to return the left leg to the floor. And with your eyes still closed, let's take a moment to absorb the stillness and whatever sensations the body's feeling right now. If there's any areas where it feels lighter, you might even notice some bubbling sensations as there's more blood circulating in that area that got opened up. Feeling those new spaces of openness and those opportunities for healing that came into the different layers of your body. And I think about all the ways that the heart is represented in nature, like the dicentra, the bleeding heart. We can start seeing hearts all over. We're going to close thinking about the heart chakra. And you can even place both hands here over your heart. You can rub that heart center. I listen to my heart and honor its connection to the hearts of others. I allow love to fill me up and guide me in all of my actions. I gracefully move to the rhythm of life. I listen to my heart and honor its connection to the hearts of others, like we did today. I allow love to fill me up and guide me in all of my actions. I gracefully move to the rhythms of life. So starting to rub those hands together, creating warmth. Can bring your palms over your face and gently open your eyes if they're not open already, letting the light filter in. Then coming back to seated. Readjust to the room around you. And I wanted to thank you all for joining today. The keyword for those of you earning wellness points for participating is heart. And our contact information is at the bottom of the left of the slide in the left-hand corner. So you can either call us if you need to schedule an appointment or would like to talk to somebody. We always have people answering phones who can help you immediately, and they can also assist you with scheduling. We can be reached by email. A lot of people use that function to ask about our services. And then, of course, our YouTube channel is Ascension Wisconsin EAP, where you can find these recordings. This one will be loaded in about a week, but you can find the other ones as well as all our other trainings, and they are awesome. We have worked hard and we have amazing content that's available to you 24/7. So once again, I want to thank you all for joining, and we'll see you here next month. I wish you all well.